You're still on The Perspective, and we are still with Glen Hulley from Project Karma. Now, Glen, you mentioned about education, to have awareness out to the people, to children, and also reporting the reporting action of approaching this issue, these crimes that are happening. Could you share a little bit with us about the education platforms? What are the models? Do you guys help to also work with different communities to set up models for children to certain different age groups?
Yeah, we see awareness and education as being the key to solving these issues. So we put a lot of focus onto this, and my organisation isn't a specialist in child psychology or child education. We are very much experts in investigation. Right. So what we do is we partner with other organisations that are experts in these fields. And also what we've done is we've formulated a network and created a team in Bali and other areas around Australia that we call the Friends of Project Karma teams. So we have a Friends of Project Karma group in Bali. And part of that group, we have a few child psychologists that have businesses or have practices in Bali. Yeah. And so through them, we're networking with other organisations that have already tailored programs specifically to educating children on child sex abuse that are being employed in many countries around the world. Yeah. We very much believe in not reinventing the wheel. Our model's very streamlined, and we want to keep overheads down. We want to use the money that we raise in our fundraising for our projects to go where it needs to go. Yeah. So we're very much about taking on other organisations that have good models that are working in those types of speciality fields. Yeah. So we've consulted with a number of different organisations, and what we're doing at the moment is taking some material that's being provided to us and having that interpreted translated into Bahasa, and it comes with training aids and things like this, so that we can train our community awareness groups to utilise these education programs and take them into the schools. And it's also confirmation for us that it's no guesswork involved here. These are programs that have been designed by experts and are being employed in many different areas around the world.
Scientifically, right?
So we believe that's the best thing that we can bring to education in Bali, and we hope to then deliver those training modules and those programs into the schools.
I hope it goes also to many of the areas in Indonesia, especially when sex education is still considered taboo, and that would prevent people from coming up and helping solve this kind of crimes in the society. Also, let's go to the reporting, to the investigating side, that it is also happening right now with Project Karma and the activities in Bali. How does it work? I mean, for people who are interested to and moved to join this cause, what is the investigation, or more importantly, I guess, reporting suggestions that you guys could provide us with?
What we found was the community in Bali, and like a lot of areas of Southeast Asia, are quite reluctant to report local crime to local police. All right. There's a perception of corruption. There's a perception of lack of action, and a general distrust. Which is why the social order structure has evolved to such an extent where they, within a banjar or a dusun, they have their own security force.
So the social structure.
Yeah, correct. And a lot of these local disputes, local crimes, are reported through that mechanism and dealt with at banjar level by a Kepala Banjar or by their local security force, and it never really even makes it to the police. And that can be all sorts of crimes, whether somebody stole my goat, right through to someone has raped my child.
Right, right.
And so
the diversities of it.
Yeah, and how the banjar meters out punishment or negotiates out a settlement or a dispute resolution differs from banjar to banjar. But quite often, we're aware of cases where girls as young as 10, 12 years old become pregnant from being raped within the village, and the young girl's either made to marry the offender or she's kicked out of the village. And so this is, again, not spoken about. So we're trying to bring the awareness of this. And so what we do is we work with those banjar to work with their security force. And from the Kepala Desa down, they then bequest a number of these security force to us. And this is a world first again. No Western organisation has ever worked directly with the Pachalang and the Jagabai or the Hansip and Linmas on such a scale like this. And so,
right?
Yeah, and we see this is the only way to do it. People trust them. They're part of their community.
Yeah.
And they're already providing a community service in many other areas, and we see this as a community service. This is part of what our project is about. We're not coming into Bali or any other place that we take this project and saying, Project Karma is here to solve your problem. We're not here to solve the problem. We're here to help them, firstly, bring awareness to them to see if they're willing to accept that there is a problem.
To acknowledge that.
Correct. And if they can, then we want them to take ownership of it. We want them to recognise that this is their problem.
Yeah.
And we have a model, we have some resources and some training and tools that we can bring to the table to help them develop their own solutions to this problem and duplicate this over and over again throughout the region.
For existing social structures that's already there.
Exactly right. We see this is what's sustainable. This is where there's never been a model like this. This isn't a Western organisation coming in blowing the trumpet like the cavalry saying, we're here to save the world.
Yeah.
This is about empowering local community to accept a problem, recognise it, and come up with solutions themselves.
Yeah, and make it sustainable.
And facilitate it, correct. Yeah. And that's essentially what we're trying to achieve. So the local security forces, we will train them to be able to do these, to receive these complaints, do these investigations, and then work with a network of the law enforcement, official law enforcement, to then take over an official investigation which will lead to prosecution and rescuing of children.
Very, very inspiring. Lastly, if you could share with us, how could people recognize if there's any, such crime happening, pedophilia, child predators happening in their regions, and quickly, what can we do about it? How should people respond to it?
Sure. Firstly, we need to be talking about it more, like we are today. I think this is a great step. The media is starting to take this on board. That's the first step. If the media is prepared to air these types of things, because in the past they haven't been. In many countries, not just Indonesia, it's considered a taboo topic, and if it's not going to rate well, if it's perceived by a producer that it's not going to rate well with an audience, it's not going to get airtime.
Yeah.
But we see now TV networks like Berita Satu are coming forward and saying, you know what, this is a community issue, and the community do need to know about this, and they do need to be talking about it. So that's the first step. The first step in combating this is getting people talking about it, and then being aware. Once they're aware of it, they're more likely to be looking for it. And if they're more likely to be looking for it, they're more likely to know that there's somewhere they can go because they've been educated, because they're aware, where they can go to report it. And so this is what we're trying to bring, is bring the message to the table. Talk with government, talk with law enforcement, so that we can say to the people, this is now an issue and you can do something about it. If you hear of this, if you see of this, it needs to be reported. And you can have confidence that something's going to get done about it. And the wheels have now started. It's not going to change overnight, but it's becoming a movement, and that's what it needs to be. As the community embraces this concept and is willing to work with us, work with law enforcement and their government, we can see a long-term solution to the problem.
Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Good luck with the ongoing and future planning with Project Karma. Hopefully this will be amplified, and our society, not only the Australian society, Indonesian for the most part, can be more actively involved in this. You can go to their website and Facebook page to also find out on many other ways to be involved in protecting the children, protecting the future. This has been The Perspective. I'm Dean Benitez. Ciao for now.